Today I want to talk about the DACA recipient in Kansas City who was ordered deported when he tried to come back with advanced parole. Now, many of you probably already heard about this and read about the story. The good news is he's allowed back into the U.S., so he's now back home in Kansas City. But I want to give a little bit of background for those of you who don't understand, or a little bit of clarification if you did read about it but don't really get the full details. So essentially, this gentleman who's a DACA recipient has been in the U.S. since I believe he was 4 years old. He applied for advanced parole and left to Mexico to go, I believe, visit his grandfather's gravesite. And he went, and upon return, he was stopped at the airport because they said he had an in absentia removal order from 2024. An in absentia removal order means he had a court date in the immigration court and failed to appear. And because of his failure to appear, the judge issued a deportation order, or what they call a removal order. Okay. Now, he did not know about this removal order, but the point is that the Border Patrol officer refused to let him in because of this removal order. They said that his DACA was issued in his advanced parole was issued in error because of this removal order, and therefore they revoked it and issued an expedited removal and essentially deported him to Mexico. Okay. What did his attorney do? Well, correctly, she filed a lawsuit against the government because what they did was incorrect. So just for some background, people have been traveling with advanced parole even with removal orders, and it has been allowed because legally speaking, the theory of advanced parole is that it's not a departure and therefore doesn't trigger the deportation. So in the past, you could have a removal order and apply for advanced parole and leave and come back and have no issues coming back at the border. Okay. So that was one of the issues that was brought up in this case, is that why didn't they let him back even if he had the removal order? Because advanced parole allows you to do that. Now, after this lawsuit was filed, the attorney obviously made all these arguments, and the government agreed to just allow him back in. But really, there's a couple of important lessons here. I don't want to get too much in the weeds about these legal arguments about whether he should be allowed to or not to travel with advanced parole. I think these days we have to be practical, and people with risky cases should not be making big moves like traveling if you have issues, right? So I think the main takeaway from here, without getting to all of the legal arguments, is number one: if you have if you were in removal proceedings, meaning in deportation court before, even when you were young, as a child with your parents perhaps, and your case was administratively closed. So a lot of people who were in court with their parents, and then they applied for DACA, and then when they got DACA, the judges administratively closed their case, meaning the case was kind of put to sleep, is what the judges like to say.